Hi guys. Happy Monday. It is March 30th. Can you believe that? It is almost the end of March. We have 2 days left in March, and technically we only have 1 week left in the 9 weeks. So as you can see, I have a much better camera today. Yay! I went to the school this morning and packed up all of our stuff. So all of your stuff has been packed up. If it was in your desk, it got put into a bag with your name on it. Everything that was in your desk went right into the bag. Anything that was in your cubby went in there. If it wasn't in your bag or your cubby, then it wasn't in the classroom. So your parents will be coming by next week to pick it up. They will be getting a schedule and they can come get all of your stuff. Also, exciting news. So my plant has started to grow, and your plants, when I went to work today and I looked, they were looking amazing. Everybody's plants, I think there's maybe one person's that hasn't started, but everybody's plants are starting to grow. So when your parent is there next week to pick up your bag with all your stuff, they can totally pick up your plant and bring it home with them, and then you can have your flower at home and we can watch them bloom and grow together. So I'm super excited that it worked, and they're looking really, really great. So when I was at the school today, I was able to get our little document camera, which we use all the time in class, and it's way clearer and way better. I don't have to sit on the floor. I can sit up so you can see the rest of my apartment now, I guess. And I also got the Next Magic Tree House book, which I am super excited about. So we are going to read book number 26. This is Good Morning Gorillas. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and then once we've done that, I also have, which I know you're not excited about, but our word problems. So we'll be able to look at those as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our Magic Treehouse book. So we are on book number 26. And if you recall, when we had started book number 25, Jack and Annie were going to look for special kinds of magic. So what Morgan had told them was that they would be spending the next 4 adventures kind of trying to find their own magic. So the last book that we had read together was book number 25. That was Stage Fright on a Summer Night. And if you remember, they went back in time to the time of Queen Elizabeth. Yes, we share the same name. And Queen Elizabeth... they went and performed a play with Shakespeare, who's a very famous playwright, and their magic was turning daytime into night. So using the magic of being in a play to turn daytime into night. So this is their second adventure to try and find a special kind of magic. So we're going to do our vocabulary first. I will post the vocabulary on Google Classroom so you can see the words as well. So our first word is curious. Curious means when you're eager to know or to learn something. So whenever you guys are in class with me and you raise your hand and you're like, oh, Miss Riley, is that like, or oh, Miss Riley, that reminds, like, that's being curious. You're asking questions, you want to know more. You're not content to kind of just sit there. So curious just means you want to know, you want to learn, and you guys are awesome at being curious all the time. The next word is fog. Fog is basically, you guys have seen it before, I'm sure. It's almost like a cloud, but instead of being up in the sky, it's down on the ground. You see it a lot in the mornings when you wake up and you look outside and it's not clear. You can't really see everything as clearly, and it just kind of looks like there's like a cloud or like a haze on the ground. That's what a fog is. It's basically when condensation happens, but close to the earth. The next word is habitat, which you guys actually should already know from our habitat unit, which is basically just where a plant or an animal lives. It's their home. So you can see my habitat where I live. And then, of course, you can think of, we've talked about different kinds of habitats. We've talked about rainforests and oceans and streams and ponds and things like that. The next word is headlock. A headlock is just basically a way of holding somebody by kind of putting your arm around their head or neck and getting them in a headlock. If we were in school together, I'd probably put some volunteer in a headlock and show you guys what it was. But I'm sure you guys know it. Oh, wait. Here, hold on. Okay. It's Tigger! He's my tiger. He's not real, obviously. But here, I'm going to put him in a headlock. See? I got him in a headlock. Okay. The next word is nightmare. So a nightmare is a really frightening or scary dream. It's worse than just a regular dream. It's really, really scary, really creepy. Then the next word is perch. A perch is basically anything that a bird sits on. So, you know, when a bird sits, it has 2 little feet and it perches kind of like this. So a perch can be actually 2 things. It's what we call a homonym. It can either be something that the bird actually sits on, so the branch itself, or like if you look in a bird cage and there's like a little piece of wood that a bird sits on, that's a perch. But perch can also be a verb meaning to sit. So, and it's usually like sitting right on the edge of. So like you guys remember how I told you don't sit on the edge of your desk because our desks are really tippy? That's a perch, when you sit like right on the edge of something. And then the last word is proud. Proud basically means to feel satisfaction for your achievements. So when you are happy about something that you've done. So I'm proud of myself for making my AR goal, or I'm proud of myself for, I don't know, getting all A's, or passing my spelling test, or, you know, getting my whole room cleaned up. Being proud of yourself just means you're like, I'm proud of what I did. You can also be proud of somebody else. I'm proud of you guys when you work really hard. So, I'll let Tigger hang out with me, why not? So yeah, we're gonna get started on, well, you can't really see his face. There you go, little buddy. We're gonna get started on Good Morning Gorillas. So, we'll read 2 chapters a day, just like we do at school. Chapter 1, Dark and Rainy. And make sure you jazz hands if you hear any of our vocab words. Tap, tap, tap. Jack sat up in bed. Rain tapped against his window. His clock said 5 a.m. It was still dark outside. Annie peeked into his room. "Are you awake?" she whispered. "Yep," said Jack. "Ready to find some special magic?" she asked. "Maybe we should wait," said Jack. "It's so dark and rainy." "No waiting," said Annie. I'll get an umbrella, you bring a flashlight, and I'll meet you downstairs." Okay, said Jack. He jumped out of bed. He pulled on his clothes and put on his jacket. Then he grabbed his backpack and flashlight. Jack slipped downstairs and out the front door. Annie stood on the porch in jeans and a t-shirt. The air was chilly and breezy. "Don't you need like a sweater or something?" said Jack. "I'm okay," she said. "Let's go." Annie raised the umbrella. Jack turned on the flashlight, and they followed a circle of rainy light down the street and into the woods. They headed through the Frog Creek woods. The flashlight lit up the trees, the wet leaves and the dark branches. Then it shined on a dangling rope ladder. Jack raised the flashlight beam higher. "Oh, there it is," he said. A circle of light lit the magic treehouse. "Morgan's not there," said Annie. "I can tell." "Maybe she left us a message," said Jack. Jack grabbed the rope ladder and started up. Annie put the umbrella down and followed. When they climbed inside, Jack shined the flashlight around the treehouse. Morgan Le Fay wasn't there, but the scrolls from their trip to Old England were. "Well, here's proof that we found the special magic yesterday," she said. "Yeah," said Jack, smiling. Theater magic. He had great memories of acting in a play written by their friend William Shakespeare. "Did Morgan leave us a new rhyme?" asked Jack. He shined the flashlight on a book lying under the window. A piece of paper was sticking out of the book. "Yes," said Annie. She picked up the book and pulled out the paper. Jack shined his light on the paper while Annie read out loud. "Dear Jack and Annie, good luck on your second journey to find a special magic. This secret rhyme will guide you. To find a special magic in worlds so far apart, speak a special language, talk with your hands and heart. Thank you, Morgan." "What kind of language does she mean?" asked Jack. "Guess we'll find out," said Annie. "Where are we going?" So let's pause for a second and think. What kind of language do you think she's talking about? She says, speak a special language, talk with your hands and heart. What kind of language might she mean? Or what language might she mean? Jack shined the flashlight on the cover of the book. It showed huge trees partly hidden by mist. The title was An African Rainforest. "Rainforest," said Jack. "It's a good thing we brought our umbrella and flashlight. Remember the rain in the Amazon rainforest? Remember how dark it was under the treetops?" "Yeah," said Annie. "Remember all the spiders and the scary ants?" "Well," said Jack, "not all rainforests have the same bugs." "Remember the river snakes, though?" said Annie. "And the crocodiles?" "Well," said Jack, "not all rainforests have big rivers. There are different kinds of rainforests, you know." "And remember on their journey they met all those really creepy animals that kept trying to eat them?" "All right," said Annie. She pointed to the cover of the book. "I wish we could go there." The wind started to blow. "Oh, and remember the jaguar," said Annie. "And the vampire bats?" "Whee!" said Jack. But it was too late. The wind was blowing harder. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Chapter 2. Cloud Forest. Jack opened his eyes. "Well, I can't tell what kind of rainforest this is," said Annie. She stared out the window. Jack looked out too. It seemed to be daytime, but to be honest, he couldn't see much of anything. The quiet forest was covered in fog. Jack opened their research book and read, "The misty rainforest in the mountains of Central Africa is called a cloud forest." "Oh, I get it," said Annie. "We're up so high, it's like we're in a cloud." "That's cool," said Jack. He pulled out his notebook and wrote, "Cloud forest, rainforest high up in the mountains." Then he read more. "The African cloud forest is home to many animals, including elephants, water buffalo, black leopards." Jack looked up. "Black leopards," he said. There's our picture. Can you see? That's kind of blurry. Let me see if I can. There we go. "Don't worry," said Annie. Jack cleared his throat and kept reading. "Antelopes, wild hogs, and gorillas." "Gorillas?" said Annie. "Don't worry," said Jack. "I'm not worried. I love gorillas," said Annie. "They're totally great." "Yeah, I don't know about that," said Jack. He pictured huge apes pounding their chests. "I'd like to study them, though, like write down their habits and behavior, just like a real scientist." "Whatever," said Annie. "Let's just go. This'll be a fun adventure." She took off down the ladder. Jack threw his notebook, research book, and flashlight into his pack. He hooked the umbrella over his arm, and then he followed Annie. When they stepped onto the ground, Jack could see better. The fog had turned into a fine mist. Jack and Annie started through the cloud forest. They walked around huge trees draped with moss. They pushed past tall shrubs, and leafy plants. "Hey, look at that tree," said Annie. She pointed to a fat tree. It had wide lower limbs padded with thick cushions of moss. "Looks like a piece of furniture," said Annie. "Kind of like an armchair." "Yeah," said Jack. "I'd better draw it." He put the umbrella on the ground. He pulled out the flashlight out of his pack and put it next to the umbrella. Then he took out his notebook and pencil. As Annie walked ahead, Jack started to draw a simple picture of the fat tree. "Hey, Jack," Annie called in a whispery voice. "Come here, quick." Jack grabbed his pack. He moved around the tree and caught up with Annie. "Listen," she said. Jack heard branches snap. Crack! A leopard? He wondered. Crack, crack! Jack nervously looked around the forest. "Maybe we should go back to the treehouse," he said. "We could read a little bit more and learn a little bit more." Annie didn't answer. Jack turned to her. She was grinning from ear to ear as she stared into the bushes. Jack followed her gaze. A dark, shaggy little head was peeking out of a cluster of leaves. "Boo Boo?" a small gorilla asked. Chapter 3, Boo Boo. And that's where we're going to stop for today. So we'll stop on Chapter 3, Boo Boo, but I will give you a little preview of what's to come. Okay, guys. So I'm going to pause the video real quick and get set up to do our problem of the day. Oops, wrong mouse. All right. Okay, so we had left off on problem set number 9. So we are on Monday. Abby made pancakes for her family on Saturday. Altogether, her family ate 12 pancakes. There were 8 pancakes left over. How many pancakes did Abby make? So I'm going to read it again. Abby made pancakes for her family on Saturday. Altogether, her family ate 12 pancakes. There were still 8 pancakes left. How many pancakes did she make? So just like we've talked about, we have to figure out first, did it give us a total? Well, it told us how many pancakes her family ate, and it told us how many pancakes got left at the end of the meal. So they had a plate full of pancakes, right? So if we imagine that there's a plate and there's pancakes all over the plate, right? Her family eats 12 of the pancakes that are on the plate, and there's 8 that are still left. So we know how many to start with. If you want, go ahead and pause the video for a second, and then you can come back and you can see if you got the correct answer. So we don't know how many pancakes she started, but we know that they ate minus 12 of them gives us 8 pancakes left. So we don't have a total, which means we have our 2 parts. So what we're going to do is we're going to reverse it and go 8 plus 12 equals blank. And then we just do it, 8 plus 12, and you can do it however makes sense to you. And we should get the answer 20. 8 plus 12 equals 20. All right, So that brings us to the end of our Monday video. You guys have a wonderful rest of your Monday, and please tell your parents to check Class Dojo. I've put up some new notes for them, and I will see you tomorrow. Toodaloo!